Good morning, everyone. Am I audible, guys?
Yes, sir, we can hear you.
Okay, so let's begin the session
Yes, sir.
now. Okay, so let's begin the session. So here we have what's it? The Azure Data Engineering, as already we have discussed. Azure Data Engineering. So guys, when we talk about the Azure Data Engineering, so here you have what's it? The Azure Data Engineering. So when we talk about the Azure Data Engineering, so as you know that the Azure Data Engineering, it's a bunch of cloud services. It's a bunch of cloud services. Okay, guys. Azure Data Engineering is the bunch of cloud services wherein it is provided with the, or we can perform the following task using the Azure Data Engineering. What is it? The first one, we have it as the data migration. And then you have what's it, guys? Data integration. And then you have the data summarization. Okay. So, okay, then we can also have what's it? Data visualization. So guys, we have what's it? The following. So the Azure Data Engineering, okay guys, the Azure Data Engineering can perform the following tasks. What's the data migration, data integration, data summarization, and as well as the data visualization. So these are all the tasks we can perform it. So for to perform this, we have a multiple services provided into the Azure Data Engineering. So what is the services we have it? The first service we call it as the ADF, which stands for Azure Data Factory. And the next service you have it as the ADB, guys, which stands for Azure Databricks. And then we have the next service, which is we call here it as a Synapse. So guys, Synapse, okay. And then you have what's it, guys, everyone? After the Synapse, you have the next service here called, what is it? ML, which stands for machine learning. And then you have what's it, guys, everyone? ML stands for machine learning. Then you have what's it? Open AI. So what is the Open AI? The Open AI, okay. The Open AI basically, it is just like the Chat GPT feature where you command the system, it will generate the code for you, whatever you want. It's just a type of, what is that? That is the AI tool you have it here in this. That's the Azure. Okay, so these are the things we have it, guys. Of course, in fact, many more are there. Okay, in fact, many more are there. So all of them, we can use it as a part of the Azure Data Engineering. Okay. So guys, as you know, the Azure Data Engineering, the whole process of this starts with a very basic one. What is it, guys? The whole part of this will start from a very basic one. What is it you have it, guys? The first one starts with the data. The first one starts with what? Data. Collection of data. So guys, data is what, everyone? Data is nothing but what? Information. We can get the data or the information. Always we can get the data or the information. Okay, guys. We can always get the data or the information, guys. We can always get the data or the information. Some way do we get the data or information? From ultimately various types of business we have the data. So what are the, basically, that is the business we can have it. Guys, we can get the data from the social networking sites. Social networking sites, we can get the data, guys. Okay. Social networking sites, we can get the data. And then apart from this, what is the other source from where we can get the data, guys? We can get the data from the, yes, we can get the data from what? We can get the data from the banking applications. We can get the data from the banking applications. Okay, then we can also get the data from the another source. Okay, so what is that, guys? Social networking sites, banking applications. Then you have the IoT sensors. Okay, So IoT, from the IoT sensors, we can get the data, guys. And it can be machine generated data. We can also have the human generated data. Okay, guys, machine generated data, human generated data, data from IoT sensors, etc., etc. All these business generates the data, guys. All these business generates the data. That is called as what? Big data. What is my big data, guys? Big data is nothing but what? The massive volume of the data. The big data is nothing but what, guys? The massive volume of the data is called as the big data. Okay, guys? The very huge volume of the data, that is called as what? Big data. So we can always have the massive volume of the data, that is called as what? Big data. The massive volume of the data, that is called as what? The massive volume of the data, that is called as what? Big data. The massive volume of the data, that is called as what? Big data. And when you talk about the big data, guys, the big data is classified into three categories. That means the data here is divided into three. What's that? The first one, we call it as what? Structured data, guys, everyone. And the second one, we can call it as what? Semi-structured data. Semi-structured data. Okay. And the third one is what is it? You have it? Unstructured data. What is structured data, semi-structured data, and as well as the unstructured data, guys. Okay. So we have what's that? Structured, semi-structured, and unstructured. So these are the three varieties of data we have it, guys. Structured data, semi-structured data, and as well as the unstructured data. So these are the three varieties of data we have it. So when you talk about the structured data, you know already yesterday we have discussed the structured data is nothing but the data which is kept in the form of a table, and the table is the collection of what is it, guys? Rows and columns. Okay, so we can say structured data is nothing but what? The data which is kept in the form of a table, that is in the form of a rows and columns. And the next one you have it as what, guys? Everyone, the next one you can have it as what? Semi-structured data. So semi-structured data means what? The data which is recorded in the form of a JSON files, or the data which is recorded in the HTML files, or the data which is recorded in the XML files, etc. Many more forms are there. All this comes under the semi-structured format only. Okay, guys. And the next one you have the unstructured. So what do you mean unstructured, guys? The unstructured data is a data, guys. The unstructured data is a data which does not follows or which does not has any structure, such as the photos. You have it in your mobile phone. You have the photos. Then you have the videos in your mobile phone. Everyone, okay. Then you have the chat history, guys. Hmm. Apart from this, you also what's it? Voice notes is there. Okay, chat history, voice notes, all these. What is that? This is called as a unstructured data, guys. So these are the three varieties of data we can have it. Okay, where, guys, when you talk about the structured or the, can you see here, when you talk about the structured or the semi-structured, guys, when you talk about the structured or the semi-structured, when you talk about the structured and the semi-structured, guys, this basically the structured or the semi-structured data, whatever we have it. Okay, whatever the structured or the semi-structured data you have it. Okay, guys, so this is nothing but only 20% of the data you will get it in this form when you work really. Okay, whereas, guys, everyone, whereas whenever you have what's that, 80% of the data, everyone, the 80% of the data, guys, the 80% of the data you will get it in what? This format only. 80% of the data you will get in what's that? Okay, 80% of the data you will get in what? You will get in the form here. What is that? The 80% of the data you will get it in one. That is nothing but unstructured format. Okay. So where as a data engineer, guys, what we have to do? We'll have to always take care of the data by converting this unstructured data to what is that? Unstructured data to the semi-structured, unstructured data to the semi-structured, and then we have to convert the semi-structured data towards it structured. So these are all the formats of the data we have it. Okay, guys, these are all the formats of the data we can have. What's the conversion of what? Structured to semi-structured, semi-structured to the unstructured. So these are all the formats we can have, guys. Okay, that's it now here. Okay, guys, these are all the formats of the data we have it. Unstructured to semi-structured, semi-structured towards it, structured data. Okay, these are all the formats we can use it here. That's it, guys. When we talk about the storage, so where do we store this data, whether it is a structured or the semi-structured or the unstructured, guys? So for that, today we'll see the storages in Azure, guys. Okay, we require some place to store the data now. So we use what? Storages in Azure. So we can say storages in Azure. So what are the storages in Azure we can have, guys? We can have almost all the storages in Azure. 90 plus different storages are provided here. How many? 90 plus different storages are provided in Azure, guys. So what are the storages you have it? Can you see here? What are the storages we have? The following are the storages. 90 plus storages are provided in the Azure here, guys. 90 plus storages are provided in the Azure. So what is that? The first one, guys, you can say Azure Blob Storage. Azure Blob Storage. Okay, guys. Azure Blob Storage. Okay. Just 1 minute. Okay, what is it? You have it? Azure Blob Storage. Where, guys, what is a blob storage? Blob is nothing but basically, can you share? Blob stands for the binary large object. Blob stands for what? Binary large object. Okay. Binary large object where you have what's that? Azure Blob Storage. So Azure Blob Storage is a basic storage, guys. Azure Blob Storage is the very basic storage. Everyone, the Azure Blob Storage is the very basic storage, guys, which can store any kind of a data. Okay, which can store any kind of a data. Means what, guys? We can store the structured data in it. Okay, then we can store the semi-structured data, guys. And as well as we can store the unstructured data. So basically we can store what's it? Any kind of data, structured, semi-structured, and the unstructured. So these are the three different type of a data we can store it here. Okay. But there is a drawback here into the Azure Blob Storage. What is that? It can store only the limited data, guys. Okay. If you have very massive amount of data, we cannot store that. But only the limited data, we can store it here, guys. Okay. Everyone, we can store the limited data. What is that we can do? We can store the limited data, guys. We can store the limited data here. We cannot store, okay, whatever the volume you have it. But what is the limitation you can store it here? We can store up to only the 500 TB, guys. That is called as what? 500 terabyte. You can have only the 500 terabyte data stored here. You cannot store more than 500 terabyte data. Okay. But now the next question, guys. If you have, everyone, guys, everyone, if you have 500 terabyte, if you have data more than 500 terabyte, if you have data more than 500 terabytes, in this case, what we do, guys? In this case, what we do, guys? If you have a data more than 500 terabyte, then we tend to store the data into the another advanced storage, which we have or which is introduced here. That is called as what, guys? Which we call it here as, or which is introduced here as what? Azure Data Lake Gen 2. So Azure Data Lake Gen 2 means what? The Azure Data Lake Gen 2 can store, in fact, it's an advanced storage. Okay, it has replaced the almost all rest of the storages here. Can you see here? But here, what is it you have it? Can you see here? What's it? We can store the data into the, guys, we can store the data into what's it? Azure Data Lake Gen 2. But here, what is the advantage of storing the data in Azure Data Lake Gen 2? You have unlimited data storage. Unlimited data storage. That means there is no limitation for storing the data. Okay, guys, there is no limitation for storing the data. But between the blob storage and the ADLS Gen 2, guys, you have one more storage was there. It was there. It is not there right now. It was there. That is, we call it here as what? Azure, everyone. Azure Data Lake Gen 1 was there. But now this Gen 1, guys, this Gen 1 is retired on, that is retired in this June 2024. It got retired, guys. Okay. It is retired. So you need not worry on this retired one. Okay. So what is it you have it? Azure Data Lake Gen 1. Azure Data Lake Gen 1 is what is it? It's going to retire. It's already retired here in June 2024. So now the Azure recommends, guys, now the Azure recommends all the users. Already they have recommended and migration is done almost all. Okay. So what happened? They have recommended and, asked all the vendors to shift their data, to migrate their data, to shift the data, to migrate their data, guys, to migrate the data from the Azure Data Lake Gen 1 towards that Gen 2. Azure Data Lake Gen 1 towards that Gen 2. Okay, guys, Azure Data Lake Gen 1 towards it, guys, Gen 2. So now the data they have shifted from the Azure Data Lake Gen 1 to the Gen 2. So now Gen 1 is not in use, guys. Gen 1 is not in use. Now, what is in use right now? We have only the Azure Data Lake Gen 2 is in use. Okay. So that means, guys, that means what's that? Yes, guys, everyone is clear with the concept? Please respond. Hello. Am I audible, guys?
Yes, sir. I mean, we understood
Yes,
what.
yes, sir. Yes.
Okay. The next
It,
one. After
it's
this, guys. Yeah, thank you. So the next one. The next one after this is what? The another storage, which is called as what? Azure, guys, SQL database. Azure SQL database. So what in by Azure SQL database, guys? Azure SQL database means what? If you want, can see here in the normal, normally on the on-premises, we call it the SQL server, guys. We call it as what? SQL server now. But the same SQL server is called as what? Azure SQL database here. But it can store only one kind of data, that is called a structured, because the always data which is supported here is called as what? The tabular formatted data, that is in the form of a table. So whenever you have the data stored in the form of a table, then only we can store, whenever you, when you want the data to be stored in a tabular format, then only we can store and use the Azure SQL database, guys. We can use the Azure SQL database. We can use the Azure SQL database. Now, the next one, guys, if you have a data, nowadays, what is the trending things we are having it? What is that? The trending one, that is called as what? If you have a semi-structured data as well. Okay, that means what? If you have structured data as well as semi-structured, both has to be stored. So whenever you wanted to store the semi-structured and as well as the unstructured or semi-structured data and structured data to be stored in a database, at that time, we have another, databases, that is called as what? Azure Cosmos DB, which we call it as what? No SQL, guys. There will be no SQL language here. That is the advantage. Why? As there is no SQL language here, everyone, as there is no SQL language, here we can store the structured and the semi-structured, but unstructured is not supported here. Cosmos DB is there. Mongo, Mongo, MongoDB is there. Sorry. Cosmos DB is there. MongoDB is there. So all this can be stored here. Okay. The same type of job it does. Okay. That is the Cosmos, Mongo, whatever you have it. Okay. It can store the semi-structured as well. So now here you watch that. The next one, guys, apart from this, can you see here? The next one, apart from this, the Azure Cosmos DB is there, MongoDB is there. Then you have what's that? Azure, guys, Azure, what is that? Synapse Analytics. Azure Synapse Analytics. So when we talk about the Azure Synapse Analytics, basically the Azure Synapse Analytics is nothing but this is the final layer of the data. That means actually this is called as what is a data warehouse, guys. Data warehouse of Azure. Okay, what is it? It is called as a data warehouse of Azure, guys. What's it? It is called as a data warehouse of Azure. It is called as what? Data warehouse of Azure. So when we talk about the data warehouse of Azure, guys, okay, when you talk about the data warehouse of Azure means what? It can have, okay, the final layer of the data, that is the mostly cleansed data, mostly the cleansed data, final layer of the data will be recorded here. The final layer of the data will be recorded here into the, okay, the final layer of the data will be recorded. The final layer of the data will be recorded into the, that is Azure Synapse Analytics. So here, guys, what is the, basically this one you have it. When we talk about this, that is nothing but the data warehouse of, that is Amazon is what? Redshift is a Amazon data warehouse, guys. In the same way, guys, in the same way, you have what is it? That is a data warehouse of that is AW, that is nothing but GCP is there, Google Cloud Platform. BigQuery, guys. What is it? BigQuery. BigQuery is what is it? Guys, BigQuery is nothing but what? Ah, BigQuery. BigQuery is nothing but what, guys? It is a one of, it is a data warehouse of, it is a data warehouse of what is it, guys? It is the data warehouse of GCP. Likewise, you have what is it, guys? Everyone, you have the likewise you have the data warehouse of Azure as the Azure Synapse Analytics. You have what's it? Azure Synapse Analytics, where we can store only the structured data, guys. Why structure means what? It is the final layer of the data. Further, we utilize the data for the visualization purpose after this. Okay. Then apart from this, guys, we have the many other storages, such as you have what's it? Azure Virtual Machine. So Azure Virtual Machine means what? This virtual machine is nothing but parallel machine you can create it. If you have a parallel machine to be created, guys, everyone, if you have parallel machine to be created, then we can create it on the Azure. There is nothing but SQL Server database, or else we can create it on the file system, means files. You have files. So files you want to get it. So now virtual machine, it can have almost all multiple structure of the data. That means you can have what is it? Almost all you can say, guys, we can store any kind of data, structured, semi-structured, or the unstructured also. Mostly we can use it here. Okay. Unstructured is basically not supported here. So we can say structure or the semi-structured, because most of the times the data which we have in unstructured, we don't pull in directly here. Okay. So this kind of data you have it here, virtual machine. So likewise, guys, totally you have what's it? 90 plus storages are there in Azure. So how to basically, guys, everyone, how to work on this kind of a data always. Okay. How to work on this kind of a data, guys, everyone. Okay. So basically, when you this storages, so how to get this storages, how to see all the storages, guys. So for that, can see here, how to see the storages. So for that, what is the process you have it? Now I'm using the process here, guys, everyone. I'm using the process here. So I'm just logging in here. So how to use it, guys? So first of all, use azure.com. Use the azure.com. Open the portal called azure.com. And after we have used the portal called azure.com, guys, everyone. After you have used the portal called azure.com. After you have used the portal called what's it? Azure.com, guys. What's it? Next one you have it. You have what's it? After we use the portal called azure.com, here we have what is it? You have to register your by giving you have to register by using your mail ID. You have to register by using the mail ID. You have to register by giving all the details. Okay, guys. Register by using the mail ID, etc. etc. Okay, guys. Register by using the mail ID. Everything you have to register by using the mail ID, and debit and credit card is needed, guys. Okay, that means what? You will have to give your debit or credit card details. Presently, for the free subscription, it will charge only 2 rupees. It will charge only 2 rupees. Later on, guys, later on, after this, okay, after this, later on, what it will do, guys? Presently, it will charge only 2 rupees, guys. Presently, it will charge only 2 rupees. Okay. And after this, that is nothing but after this one, what happens is the 2 rupees, for the 2 rupees, whatever they have charged, they will return back in 8 days. And this subscription, you can use it for the coming, guys, 1 month. Okay, 1 month with the 15,000 credits will be given to you. Okay, the credits will work as a money here. Okay, so the usage you're using it, the credits will be consumed off. And once all the credits are consumed off, then the same has to be converted to the pay as you go model, guys. Pay as you go model. So now it will be diverted to what? Portal.azure.com. So first of all, you get registered on the azure.com, then it will be rerouted to the portal.azure.com. Now I will show you these things practically, guys. So just come here, everyone. So I'm using it here. Just a minute. I'm sharing you my screen right away. So here you have it. Use it portal.azure.com. Sorry, use it here azure.com first of all. This is the page, guys, wherein you have to start with. So click on the, can you see here? Get started with Azure. Get started with Azure. Click on the try Azure for free right now. Because if you go for the pay as you go model from the initial point, okay, guys, from the initial point, so you'll be okay having the issue. So do one thing, go with the you'll have to start pay from the day one. So just go with the free model right now. And after a few days, if you want, you can just shift it to the pay as you go model. So you can see here, as already I am registered, it's giving my mail ID. Directly the mail ID, with this mail ID, I'm already registered. So hence it is giving my mail ID. If you are not registered, then you will get your name, address, phone number, PIN code, PAN card details, and bank details. Everything it will ask you. Okay. Bank in the sense debit card or credit card. So just for verification purpose, it will take 2 rupees, guys. Then later on, the same will be refunded to your account. Okay. Do not worry on this. Okay. So this is the one you have it, guys, everyone. So now, once it is done, guys, it will reroute you back to the page. What is the page? The page called what? Portal.azure.com. This is the page it will take you to. This is the page it will take you to. What's it? Portal.azure.com. This is the page, guys, wherein you have this portal.azure.com. What's that? This is the page you are going to work, everyone. Can you see it? Just click on the more services here. More services. Can you see it? These are all the services you can see. These are all the services. We have the, can you see it? Here you have the AI plus machine learning, and then you have that analytical services are there. Then you have the compute services are there. And then you have what's that? Container services. Likewise, database services. All these are the services you have it, guys, everyone. Okay. All these are the services we have it, guys. Okay. These are all the services we have it, guys. Multiple type of services. Okay. So these all services we can use it for our as per our requirement. That's it, guys. Okay. So everyone just do take the subscription by tomorrow, because tomorrow I'm starting up with the practicals, guys. So any questions if you have, you can ask me. Okay. And meanwhile, if you need some details, okay, if you need some details, meanwhile, guys, if you need some details, meanwhile, you can just call me upon my number. This is my number, guys. So if you want anyone want some things to be okay discussed, or if you feel that you need to talk to me, you can just
Yeah, one doubt here.
mm,
Hello? So, like,
uh,
last time I was trying to, subscribe, I have used my mail ID and some other
uh,
card ones. Now I am unable to again, use that actually. Can
which
we,
one?
how to do this portal.azure.com?
You're not able to?
No, last time I logged in with mail ID and I given some credit card at
That
that.
will be expired. How many days back?
It's maybe 6 months or 1 year back.
That one gone.
So how can I reactivate that again?
Mm, it will ask you for pay as you go model. Go for a free one, na, initially.
No, I have a different card actually now.
You can use it, no problem. You can
So,
add that.
okay. Oh, I tried actually. I'm unable to connect. So can you help me that tomorrow in that case?
Sure, sure. I'll show you this how to log in tomorrow. Okay.
Okay, okay, sure.
Okay, guys. So about the services and details of the services also, I will tell you tomorrow how to make out everything. Okay. So that's it for the day. So tomorrow we'll have the session at 8 a.m. guys. Okay. So from tomorrow we are going to start the main subject, guys. So meanwhile, if you have any doubt, you can just get back to me. Okay. That's it, guys. Thank you, everyone. So I'm ending up the session here. Please get back to me. If you have a doubt, please ask me. Hello. Okay, guys. Thank you. So we shall meet tomorrow at the same time. Thank you.